Is prostitution truly the oldest profession? This age-old assertion has been widely used, often with a certain level of condescension, to describe the existence of sex work throughout human history. Let's critically examine this claim and explore how prostitution was viewed in ancient India compared to other ancient civilizations. Firstly, the notion that prostitution is the oldest profession is simplistic and somewhat misleading. The actual origins of sex work are shrouded in history, and it's important to note that human societies are incredibly diverse. The practices and roles of women, including sex work, varied considerably across different cultures and time periods. Ancient India provides an interesting perspective on this matter. In many ancient Indian texts, there are references to a category of women known as ganikas, or courtesans. These women were often highly educated and accomplished in various arts, such as music and dance. They played crucial roles in the courts and were not solely relegated to sexual services. While they may have provided sexual companionship, their cultural significance went far beyond this. In contrast, when examining prostitution in some other ancient civilizations, we often see a more marginalized and oppressed status for sex workers. For example, in ancient Greece, prostitution was indeed one of the oldest professions, but it was not considered a respectable occupation. The women who engaged in it were typically slaves or lower-class individuals, and their social standing was far from esteemed. Similarly, in the Roman Empire, prostitution was commonplace, but the women involved in this profession were often subjected to social stigma and legal restrictions. Prostitution was tolerated to some extent, but sex workers were not held in high regard. The critical point to highlight here is that the view and status of sex work were not consistent across ancient civilizations. In India, the ganikas occupied a unique and more respected role, while in other societies, prostitution was often associated with societal disapproval and the subjugation of women. This complex historical narrative underscores the need for a nuanced perspective. The oversimplified notion that prostitution is the oldest profession fails to acknowledge the diversity of experiences among sex workers in different times and places. It's crucial to approach this topic with sensitivity, recognizing the agency and resilience of individuals engaged in sex work and acknowledging the societal factors that have influenced their roles and statuses.